Recording in progress.
Order. Okay, call me the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda posted.
Yes, the agenda was posted on June 20th.
Roll call.
Vice President Boydston is absent. Director Keith.
Here.
Director Morris.
Here.
Director Reynolds. Absent. President Worm.
Late, but here. Apologize for being late. I was on a phone call and couldn't get All right, we have time for public comment for matters that are not on the agenda, that are within the jurisdiction of the district. If you wish to speak to a matter that is on the agenda, we would request you wait until that matter is called. That will make things go more smoothly. But if there is anybody either here in person or online or a written comment that wants to speak on a matter not on the agenda, but still within our jurisdiction, we now have the opportunity. And Mr. Schultz is raised his hand.
Here's a comment.
Okay, a comment.
Yes. We believe that the first steps to know how LACSD is serving our mountain communities is to do a lot of research. Our conclusions and opinions are derived from a group of full-time residents in our mountain communities, which includes Lake Arrowhead, Deer Lodge Park, and Rim Forest. Our base is that of full-time residents and does not include property owners who live down the hill or outside investors who are short-term rental property owners in Arrowhead Woods. LACSD's operations have been under attack and scrutinized by the authors of Arrowhead Woods and Forum. They mostly cater to outside investors, not full-time residents. The two authors, Garen Vartanian and Ted Height, have caused us full-time residents to investigate their multiple allegations regarding LAC in the years 2023 and 2024 pertaining to the LACSD board, general manager, staff, and employees, which they want to remove. After much deliberation from our research, our conclusion is that LACSD has gone far and above and beyond their duties, including applying for their $25 million grant, which we wouldn't have to pay back. This would assist us with PFAS and other water system concerns. Arrowhead Woods Informed is an internet publication serving mostly outside investors and is not a friend to our mountain communities. Arrowhead Woods Informed is for Arrowhead Woods property owners and completely discounts Rim Forest and Deer Lodge Park. Garen Vartanian and Ted Height have spent these last 1.5 years searching for something. Our full-time residents are perplexed for the reasoning behind this barrage of negative writings and articles being thrown at LACSD. But we applaud the fact that nothing has stuck to the wall regarding LACSD being negligent. In 2023, Garen and Ted had requested public records 11 times and found nothing. This year of 2024, Garen and Ted have requested 20 public records, which equates to 3 or more per month, and have found nothing. Everyone has a right to work, and jeopardizing that right is morally wrong and could fall under criminal activity due to harassment. Now, our hearts go out to those who have been put under a microscope and received negative written articles and letters about their workplace performance. Many of us full-time residents also have been harassed and or threatened to lose their jobs or reputations, and this is our reasoning to stand with others who are going through the same experience. Everyone should be able to work for a living without having to be harassed day in and day out. Our final conclusion and opinion is that this is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to take over LACSD. We believe that 20+ public record requests in half a year is excessive and reaches the threshold of harassment, which interferes with the employed to do their jobs. LACSD is being discredited from top to bottom. The general manager has been criticized the most, including for her yearly salary, which is on par with other GMs at other water districts. The word on the mountain is she's being targeted because she's a woman. These are just a few of the public records they have requested and found nothing. Proof of sewer line repairs and video footage. Itemized list of repair projects from the main sewer pipe around the circumference of the lake. Maps or locations of private lateral connections to main sewer line. Copies of sewer maps that show pipe locations. This one's interesting.
Michael,
Yes,
you've reached 5 minutes.
I have.
Yes.
May I have another minute, please?
Can you make it
Yes, I
pretty,
will.
okay?
Yes, I
sort
will.
of,
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on for
Okay.
all the public records that they have asked.
Okay.
And they have found nothing. LACSD is credible. Arrowhead Woods and Farm is not. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Michael. Any other,
Yes, we have Mr. Hack.
Mr. Hatt, welcome.
Thank you. I have a little, bubbling spring behind my house. That comes up it produces water about 12 months out of the year. The animals love it. They come by and get free water to drink. I've heard a rumor about water rights and LACSD and water rights. There's a rumor that it's coming out in the state bill. So my question to you is who owns the water rights on my property? Does
I
the
think
water company own the water rights or do I own the water rights?
I think that's beyond the scope of what I could answer because we'd have to do a title search on your property and I haven't done that. So that's what I would suggest perhaps you look at to see if there's any assignment or covenant recorded on your title regarding water rights, because I don't know.
So if AWAC claimed that they own the water rights and I can prove that AWAC did not exist after 2010 because they didn't receive the required 55% that was required by their charter, does that mean that I would have the water rights on my property and not AWAC to turn over to you guys? Or does that go deeper than that?
It's way beyond what we could answer. Even just by looking at your title search, it would really require a lot of legal research.
Do
Title search that I
most
could-
people not own their water rights, or is it an unusual thing for people to own their water rights when they buy property?
You know, I couldn't answer that situation. I would say there's some, in my experience, from just looking at titles, there's instances where people purchase property and the water rights are accepted. And then there's other instances where people own their property and that includes the water rights. So it just depends.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you. Appreciate your question. Anybody else?
There's none.
All right, very good. Okay, next we'll go ahead and move to the consent calendar. These are routine, non-current, and expected to be non-controversial. They acted on at one time without, I missed a matter here. Approval of the agenda. I don't think I did that. Okay. Any additions or deletions from the agenda from the board? No. And so now going back to the consent calendar,
Would you like a motion to approve the agenda?
do we need one? Okay. They're expected to be routine and non-controversial, will be acted on at one time without discussion unless one of the board members wants to withdraw a matter from the consent calendar. There's nothing to be withdrawn from the consent calendar, okay? Do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
None.
None, okay,
I'll move that we approve the consent calendar as posted.
I'll second.
okay. And roll call vote, items 6 through 9.
Director Keith,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes. Consent calendar is approved. Okay, and next we have departmental reports. Number 10, Operations Manager, Matt, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board.
Mhm.
This is my information item, Operations Manager's report, where I give a report or an update on water delivered in the current calendar year. So page 31 of the packet is where I do the analysis. And so when we compare May 24 to May 23, consumption was up quite a bit, almost 23%.
That's a lot of water we were able to deliver,
Yeah.
right?
But looking back, we had much cooler temps in May last year. We didn't deliver recycled water till June last year. I'll get to that in the recycled water section, but that's the difference between this May and May of 23. But through 5 months, the consumption is very similar. It's down about 1.4% this year compared to 2023 through 5 months. Lake draw is slightly up at this point in the year compared to last year. Wells to system is down compared to this time of last year, but we just recently got well 2 back online, beginning of May. And so that's going to help out going forward. We are in the bid process, out to bid to get well 5 back online and get some work done there and get that well rehabilitated. So we're looking and hopeful that these well numbers are going to continue to go up as the year goes on. Clawa purchase, we purchased just a little bit, started purchasing Clawa in May, 2.16 acre feet total. And through 5 months, recycled water, we just delivered 17 acre feet. And so we started delivering that May 20th. And as compared to last year, it was June 7th, which is typically much later. We've delivered recycled water as early as April before and as late as June. So that's the difference in these numbers. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I got a question for you, Matt. Do you think that it's down a little bit because there's fewer people on the mountain this year, or?
Consumption?
Or is it close enough that it's just within the margin there?
I'd say at this point, it's close enough. I think it'd be hard to make that assessment. I think there is definitely less full-time people up here, but I'd have to get back to you on that.
No, that's fine. I didn't know if you. It's a close call, so.
Question on the water delivered, sent to waste for EPA required sampling.
Yes.
We have like January, March, and April. Over 1 acre foot and 2 acre feet. That's a lot of water. How do we?
Well, yeah, that's fortunately, we're gonna have another event coming up.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about that in a minute, but that's when we sample Cedar Glen treatment plant.
Okay.
And because we know that's above what used to be the California response level,
Mhm.
to do the required sampling, the EPA required sampling of the finished water, we put it to waste rather than put it into the system. So
Okay.
that's the purpose of that.
But
And
we're not sending them 2 acre feet of water, right?
No, but it
Okay.
takes, no. It takes time to bring the treatment plant back up after
Okay.
it's been offline.
I
And it
see.
takes time to run the plant before we take the sample to get accurate representative samples. Then we take the sample. So the whole process takes,
All right,
a couple acre feet.
I
And
gotcha.
to jump ahead, and I'll mention in my next item, but the PFAS sampling that we've been doing, the last finished water samples we took were from Cedar Glen Treatment Plant in March. We've been waiting for the results. They typically take about 3 months plus. Today, this afternoon, we received another resample kit at our door at Bernina, so we need to fire that treatment plant up again. It specifically states we need to take the samples July 7th, 8th, or 9th. So we're gonna have to fire the plant up ahead of that and take another set of samples to satisfy the fourth quarter or fourth consecutive quarter, if they want to call it that, of the required EPA sampling. But that was going to be talked about in my PFAS,
Okay.
which is next, but since we're kind of talking about that water being wasted, we're going to be doing the same thing next month.
All right. Well, go ahead. Item number 11 then.
Okay. PFAS update. This is just an update on anything related to PFAS since we last met, and that was on May 28th. So this begins on page 32 of the packet. You'll see on page 33, there's a map. We updated it. We added a site number 39, Blue Jay well. We did that because we recently sampled the well. That's the one that's being constructed right here on the property. And we took a PFAS sample because pretty important. We need to know if there's any PFAS in there and if we need to separately budget for treatment or deal with that. So, and so on page 34 of your packet, you'll see this is the samples that were taken since we last met. And that sample I was just talking about was taken on March 6th. We were waiting on the results, and today, June 25th, we just got a box to resample that. On the last board meeting date is May 28th, we took a set of samples that was recommended by Battelle. That's the consultant we're working with to try to do a more detailed analysis of PFAS and see if we can get a PFAS signature and get an idea of where that might exactly be coming from. And then the Blue Jay well sample was taken on June 11th, right out here that I just mentioned. And on May 29th, the day after the board meeting, we issued the RFP, like we mentioned at the board meeting we're going to do. And the RFP to 5 qualified engineering firms for PFAS treatment final design. As you might remember, we had a completed preliminary design report. And so now with that was an RFP sent out for somebody to take that from 30% design and complete it. And so we have an action item later tonight to hopefully move forward with that. So that's everything, including updated results, are on the pages right beyond that. These are right on our website. And so those are the updated results. This is the information we have regarding PFAS. And with that said, I'd gladly answer any questions.
Any questions, comments?
Well, I have a question, Matt, on page 45. Is the rim forest tank down right now? Because I see the test date of 5A. ND, is that?
That's not detect. It actually came back not detected for any PFAS. So. And that's
Other than it's been an 11, like there's been higher numbers, right? In
Well,
the past, or is that just?
This was separate taken from the rim forest water tanks, a separate water system. The other ones you're looking at there, those are finished water in Arrowhead Woods.
Okay.
And so we included that on the finished water sheet because we felt that's where it belonged. The other sheets are raw water or groundwater. So maybe we could put maybe bolt divider there. That's a separate water system.
That's fine. Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, that's good. Thank you.
And now,
No, okay.
we are now buying water from Clawa,
Yes.
okay? And we're putting that into the finished drinking water system. And does that affect the amount of PFAS that we deliver to our customers?
Yes, it brings the levels down because from what we know, Clawa has non-detect levels of PFAS.
Okay,
And so, yes, right now we're Cedar Glen treatment plant's offline, like I mentioned, we're gonna have to fire it up to take this, next set of required samples, but aside from that, it's gonna be down. Typically this time of year, it's running, it's up and running. And so we are buying more clawa than we typically would to account for that. So on that side of the lake, currently we're purchasing 300 gallons a minute. That's coming in, Rim of the World, the upper end, and then we're purchasing 50 gallons a minute over on the Brentwood Oakmont connection. That's coming in to blend with Bernina.
So at those levels, approximately how many acre feet per month would we be purchasing from Clawell? Oh, well, that's
I'd have to
okay.
crunch some numbers for you.
Do you have any estimate as to how much the reduction percentage wise of the PFAS is and our delivered water because we're buying Clawell water?
We don't yet, you know, we just know it's lower than the 10.
Because
Yeah.
Clawell is a non-detect.
Right.
Whatever Clawell we put in is
Mhm.
gonna lower the
Yeah.
percentage.
We were right about the 10 threshold prior to that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we know, yeah, it would be just a guess if I gave you a
Oh,
number right now.
don't guess.
But I can tell you that the amount of clawa that we did budget for was a couple 100 acre feet, which would be typically what Cedar Glen treatment plant would do during the irrigation season. So if we were to purchase that full amount.
So that's the budget for our water season, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's during that water season, how many acre feet would we be using?
In the, well, probably 200 acre feet of clawa
Yeah, but I mean overall,
overall. Oh, okay, let me look at here.
an estimate's fine.
For the year is about 1,200.
1,200, okay. So if we use 1,200, if we use 1,200 acre feet per year, and 200 of that is from Clawa, which is non-detect, then we're gonna be lowering the PFAS level by 17%. Thank you, Robert.
16 and 2/3 to be exact.
We'll round it up to 17, and that's just by purchasing the Clawa water.
Right.
Without having to do any of our spending millions. This is coming up in our next, in the action item
Mhm.
for claims. Okay, thank you, Matt, appreciate it. All right. Okay, and,
You have a comment,
okay,
Mr. Martini?
all right, Garen.
You're muted.
I think. Open here.
Hello,
Hello.
I also have a question about page 35.
Okay,
Okay, so page 35, as it was explained, it's giving the results for the finished drinking water in the two different plants. Plant 2 is Cedar Glen, plant 1 is Bernina, correct?
Correct.
Is the Bernina plant down right now? Or is it up?
No, it's running.
Okay, so the question that I have is, the last test that was conducted for Bernina and plant 1, if you look at the third column, so treatment plant 1, treatment plant 1, treatment plant 1. The third column says, November 7th, 2023.
Right.
So that was November, and then December, January, February, March, April, May, and now we're in June. I know previously you stated that there was a problem with the sampling. EPA wanted you to retest, and it's been now 7 months. Do you think it's a good idea to independently find out if Bernina, which has our main processing of drinking water, what the levels of PFAS would be in that water that we drink? That's 7 months now. November 7th, 2023 was the last time that we did sampling of Bernina. So why is it taking 7 months, and why isn't LACSD inquiring about the levels of PFAS in our main drinking water plant that's active right now? Thank you.
okay. Anything else, Garen? Any other questions?
No, there's that one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Garen, like, I'll have to follow up with you on this because there might be some data missing here, but Bernina has had all 4 of the quarterly samples taken. Bernina is not offline and has not been offline for 7 months. It's currently running right now. So I can get back to you on the missing data here and, but Bernina is in full compliance and the 4 required sets by the EPA of finished water have been sampled. And we've actually sampled Cedar Glen multiple times and we're doing it probably for the 8th time now. Resampling and it's like the 4th resample kit we've had with Cedar Glen. I think we've had at least one with Bernina. So I'll get you the data you're looking for. So yeah, Bernina has been sampled all 4 times.
I'll just jump in here. So, that page are the EPA required, except for the rainforest one that we added. EPA required quarterly, which Bernina is no longer required to do, but we continually test the raw. And so on page 38, anything that says North Bay is actually raw water to Bernina. So we have, the last result was May 8th, 2024.
And so we will have the most up-to-date information at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Very good, thank you. Any other,
No.
Okay. General Manager's report?
Mr. President, so at our last meeting, you requested some information related to our estimate for wells. So we kind of used this $1 million estimate for developing a new well as kind of a budgetary number. And on page 43, there's the detail about how, we kind of calculate that. Unfortunately, there's a lot more than just the drilling portion. We also have to construct the well, connect it, permit it, and engineer it. We have CEQA and related costs. For the Blue Jay well specifically, I do have an engineer's estimate for the construction and treatment that's actually 500,000 more than this. Of course, it has not gone out to bid yet, but hopefully it won't be that much, but actually $1 million is probably not enough. And our estimate is more around 1.5 million for a new well. And that's why it's better for us to consolidate multiple wells into one treatment process. So we're working on some locations like that.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? No? Okay. This cloud seeding.
Yeah.
I have read it that there's that it is a little bit controversial, that doesn't really affect us in any way, or.
Doesn't affect us as a district.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, the lake was lower and I kind of welcomed the idea of additional water. But after Snowmageddon, I contacted them and wanted to make sure that they were aware that, we have homes and businesses here that we need to protect, and we don't own that water. And maybe it's great for recreation, but it's not necessarily anything we don't get more water rights.
And some of this cloud seeding is occurring in Rim Forest, correct?
It is, yes.
Yeah. And looking at this table here, there seems to be, is that, you interpret that as additional rain falling in Rim Forest or wherever? I mean, 4.5 inches in March?
Yeah, that was just in a 2-day period. I can't tell you whether it was successful, but they do have some analysis that will be done to determine if they think that they got more water out of the storm than they otherwise would have.
Well, anyway, that seems like an awful lot of rain possibly in one area. So I appreciate any keeping updated on that.
I want.
Any questions, comments for?
Mr. Vartanian has a question.
Okay,
Yeah, I had my hand raised up. I had a question about the wells.
okay,
Can I ask a question about the wells?
go ahead.
Okay, so I reached out to Big Bear Department of Water and Power. I was curious, they have 50 wells and their wells are massive. They pump 700 gallons per minute. The well diameters are 18 inches and they're 500 feet deep. I wanted to ask them how much they're paying for these wells that they're drilling up there. Ours seem minuscule compared to what they're doing up there at 700 gallons per minute. The ones in the country club are, I believe, like 20 to 40 or 10 to 40 gallons per minute. They were coming back and they said it's roughly $900,000 to drill a well up there of that size. So the question that I have is, why is it so expensive in Lake Arrowhead? And is the survey of this well, you guys put together this cost analysis that exactly matches last month's $1 million estimate? Does it really cost $200,000 to survey a well site? Can we get some numbers on this? Because it seems every line item seems inflated, especially in Blue Jay when we're coming back at 1.5 million for a well in Blue Jay. Can we get some real numbers? Or invoices, receipts? That's my question.
Well, we were asked to provide information. Any other questions, Karen?
No, that's it. It's just we were given a chart. Is there any underlying data that confirms that chart?
I think this is an estimate of a typical or, provides information on the cost to drill wells. So in our experience, I believe that's about what it costs. And that's what I think I had mentioned, that $1 million per well. And so that's about what it is. But thank you.
Okay, thank
All right. Next, we go to the action items. This is a public hearing in consideration to adopt resolution 2024, adopting the annual wastewater service sewer fees and directing the general manager to file said report with San Bernardino County auditor, controller, treasurer, tax collector, and request the auditor, controller, treasurer, tax collector to place the fiscal year. Okay, the public hearing is now opened. Can the secretary please provide the statement as to the proper notification of the public hearing and the statement as to the purpose?
In accordance with applicable law, including California Government Code Section 61115B and 6066, the public hearing notice was published within the jurisdiction of the district on June 6, 2024 and June 13, 2024. The public hearing notices were mailed on June 14, 2024 to the owners of each affected parcel. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear and consider all objections or protests to the enrollment of the wastewater service fee on the county tax roll for each affected parcel within the district.
Staff presentation by John O'Brien.
Thank you, President Worm. This is our annual hearing and consideration of the resolution to place the annual wastewater fees onto the property tax roll for our customers that the district only provides sewer services to. There is there's a segment within our district that the district only provides sewer services to and not water services. So because we only charge a fixed fee on residential sewer customers, the district is able to save the cost that would otherwise be associated with sending out monthly bills to these customers. Instead, we're able to place one annual fee on the property tax roll, and specifically it cuts down on about 27,000 bills that we otherwise would be sending out. As far as the fees, they're the same fees as everyone else in the district pays, specifically going from $57.73 a month to $59.81 a month, an increase of $2.08 per month. As It's really just more of kind of a convenience than anything else and saves, the district quite a bit of money as far as not having to send out all the bills as well as postage and all the other associated costs. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions from the board? No. Did the board receive any written public comments, Marissa?
No.
Okay. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on, at this time, either in person or online? Well, if there's no further public comment or any public comment, the public hearing is closed. Moving to board member discussion, any board member question or comments?
No.
No. Do we have a motion?
I'll move that we approve resolution number 2024-06.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote?
Director Keith,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
President Worm,
Yes, so the motion is approved
Do you?
or motion carried.
Oh,
I don't.
No, you can just, you will, so I guess maybe for the clarity to the record, you just say that, as recommended by staff, we will adopt as it's in the motion, or sorry, in the agenda. I will amend my earlier motion to approve, let me get back there. So I do that. I'll move that we approve resolution number 2024-06 as set forth by staff. Page 49 and 50 of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Director Keith,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
President Worm.
Yes. Okay, the motion is carried. Thank you, John. Moving to item number 14. Consider adopting resolution 2024-05 approving budget for fiscal years 2024-25 and 2025-26. John.
Thank you, President Worm. Starting on page 113 of your packet is this month's report related to our upcoming budget for the next 2 years. As a reminder, the district prepares a biannual budget in accordance with California code, and this is the 5th monthly meeting regarding that budget. There's only one material change since the board saw the budget last month, and that is with it being the addition of replacement of 3 generators totaling $150,000. In addition to that, last month I promised that I would answer a question that was asked regarding whether or not the district had lost $575,000 on investments in the 2021 and 22 fiscal year. So I'd just like to answer that real quickly. The negative number reported represented a required year-end accounting entry to reflect the fair market value of the district's investments as required by our auditors. The 2021-22 fiscal year, you may remember, was the year that the Federal Reserve began aggressively raising interest rates. Interest rates and fixed income investments have an inverse relationship. So as the Federal Reserve forced interest rates up, the market value of our fixed income investments go down. This even includes our CDs, which are FDIC insured. As the district only invests in short-term instruments and holds them to maturity, this fluctuation in market price does not affect the district's operations. This unrealized loss was solely an accounting entry and had no impact on the cash balance or cash received by the district. So unless the board has any questions, I'd ask that the board adopt resolution number 2024-05, approving the final budget for fiscal years 2024-25 and 2025-26 as detailed in the attached report.
So moved.
Do public comment.
Yeah, we're gonna do public comment
After a second.
after a second.
Second.
Okay. John, I do have a question. Can you briefly describe the budget process?
Sure.
Okay, we have a 2-year budget and when we started this process for this budget, how many months ago?
I kind of behind the scenes, probably in December, January, the finance department starts putting it together. You know, kind of look at where we start putting projections together as far as where we think we're going to end at the fiscal year of June 30th, which is, you know, essentially coming up here in a few days. We review, you know, essentially all the operating costs that are associated with each of the departments. We then have a meeting with all the department heads as well as the supervisors and say, okay, this is what you spent last year. This is what you were over budget on. This is what you're under budget on. You know, what can we do to, you know, keep, you know, costs as tight as possible? You know, sometimes I'll notice that, you know, over this 2-year period, we had, you know, we were like kind of consistently under budget on something. So that's something that maybe we can trim back on. But then likewise, the guys will also sometimes come and say, okay, well, you know, you have this budgeted for me, but we've moved to a new chemical. And this chemical is, you know, we can no longer use previous chemical. It's this new chemical. It's 3 times the cost. So, you know, we have to, it's fairly dynamic as far as being able to kind of go through everything. And, you know, so we hash that out. Probably we do that in February and partially March, I would say. We then separately look at, we also have similar same process, but now with as far as capital improvement projects, you know, what needs to be done to the infrastructure moving forward. And so that's, you know, that's kind of, I ask for kind of their wish list and then we prioritize it. Some things are just not going to be able to get done. I mean, there's obviously, you know, there's only so many dollars to go around. And there's also just realistically what can get done in a year, particularly with permitting and everything else that kind of goes on. And then I would say the last major part would be kind of the non-operating costs, which, you know, are more like on, you know, we'll say on the treasury side and things along those lines. So it all kind of comes together and then we start presenting in March, April. So yeah, so this is the 5th, you know, giving public a chance to comment throughout the process, the board to, you know, steer if they feel the need that, you know, they want something prioritized or things along that nature. Last month was approval of the draft budget, and then this month would be the approval of the final budget. And it's all according to or required by California code.
All right, so the motion has been made, seconded, public comment?
None.
None? Okay. All right, roll call vote then?
Yes. Director Keith,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
President Work.
Yes, so the resolution 2024-05 is adopted. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Next, we have item number 15. Consider a contract with Blue Scope Construction to replace the operations building at Willow Creek that burned down. And I think we had a rainstorm, pretty big rainstorm on it.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, President Worm. To go over a little background on this project, the operations building at Willow Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant was destroyed by a fire on December 14th, 2021. The cause of the fire could not be definitively determined after investigation. Following the incident, the district submitted an insurance claim and demolished the remaining structure. The site has since been cleared and remediated. The original building was approximately 4,000 square feet in size. Prior to the fire, district staff had been engaged in studies and pilot projects aimed at enhancing treatment capabilities at the plant. An operations building at this site is essential for housing the required infrastructure and internet technology to effectively manage the operations. Reason for this recommendation, we went with Blue Scope. Blue Scope provides a comprehensive design build process to oversee the entire project from start to finish, resulting in time and cost savings for the district. The contract covers all expenses related to design, engineering, construction, and the metal building. Blue Scope was selected through a competitive procurement process through Sourcewell, a service cooperative that facilitates collective procurement. After reviewing Blue Scope's initial proposal, district staff negotiated for a reduced price and verified the necessary license and registrations. The new building is going to span approximately 2,100 square feet, will be fully finished with all the fixtures and cabinetry. And additionally, the district will supply office furniture and a new generator. The fiscal impact in this project, the cost associated with the approval of this item is $1,992,741 plus 15% contingencies of $298,999 for a total of $2,291,652. The cost of this project is included in the fiscal year 24-25 budget at $202,500,000. And it's mostly offset by the funds received from the district property insurance claim, which totaled $2,242,620 after the deductible of $100,000. So with that, it's staff recommendation that the board of directors award a contract for the construction of the replacement of the operations building at Willow Creek wastewater treatment plant to Blue Scope Construction for their low and responsible proposal of $1,992,741 and authorize the general manager to execute the contract and authorize the general manager to approve change orders for the project as required in the field during contract time for the amount not to exceed 15% of the original contract amount. So with that, do you have any questions?
I have a question, just because I don't know what it means. It says structural type RF. What is that? On page 228, it says structural type RF. I'm sitting here racking my brain, can't figure out what that means.
228.
Right in the blue in the dead center.
Is that rigid frame? I would have to look in there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
You know, Blue Scope was going to be online, but I don't see them. If they're online, raise your hand, but I don't see his name on there.
I just didn't know what the terminology was. That was my other question.
We will get that for you.
Google says reciprocal frame.
Oh, reciprocal.
I don't know if I can click on it and tell you
No,
what.
that's okay.
That's my first.
I'm looking at some crazy diagrams,
Yeah.
so it probably has something to do with how the structure is
Structures,
supported,
yeah.
how it's supported, yeah.
And you can see the picture on page 229. It's got the steel that tightens it. I just didn't know. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well done, council.
So I'll move approval of the item as presented by Scott.
Second.
A public comment?
There's none.
No, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, the contract is considered to be awarded. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay. And you're still, don't go anywhere. Okay, number 16. Contract for engineering for design and construction of the PFAS removal system.
Thank you. Yeah, so background on this project, the district has identified higher levels of PFAS in the drinking water and aims to reduce these chemicals to meet regulations and protect public health. N2W Engineering, with experience in designing PFAS treatment options, has been chosen to fast track the installation of necessary equipment. The district has approved a contract with DUDEC to prepare a preliminary design report for assessing the suitable treatment options. The board of directors is keen on expeditiously preparing the necessary documentation to ensure the prompt installation of the equipment to protect public health, secure funding, and obtain treatment equipment, which is in high demand. The coordination with DUDEC for CEQA studies will help prevent delays in the project. The reason for recommendation, N2W Engineering and DUDEC teams collaborated on the preliminary design report for the district, which evaluated various treatment options and provided recommendations. N2W Engineering worked as a subcontractor to DUDEC for that report. Now N2W will be the main contracting firm, with DUDEC as a subcontractor for this new contract. N2W Engineering is well acquainted with the district's systems and is ready to swiftly generate the necessary documents to initiate the bidding process for this project. A funding request from the California Drinking Water State Revolving Fund is currently pending, and they require 90% plans before a financial agreement can be concluded. Additionally, there's a 6-month lead time on the proposed equipment, which N2W Engineering can assist in pre-purchasing to expedite the process. The fiscal impact on this is the contract will be $749,590, and it will be funded by the Water Capital Improvement Fund 110. A request for funding is pending, which may offset a large portion of the cost. Additional fees related to the construction support will be charged as needed according to the pricing schedule as provided. And on this one, it's staff recommendation that the board of directors approve the contract with N2W Engineering to prepare final plans, provide construction support for the installation of a PFAS removal treatment system at 2 surface water treatment plants. Any questions?
Does this include payments to DUDEC, or is this just us to N2W?
So DUDEC was the prime on the preliminary design report, and N2W was the like their sub. And now N2W, who specializes in this, is the prime. Greg Guillen, who we've had online, has switched to N2W. So DUDEC will now be the sub and N2W will be the prime. Same staff.
I guess my only question is, do we need to approve anything else to get this moving with DUDEC? Or is it, it's subsumed by N2W?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and DUDEC had already done the preliminary study from a previous meeting.
Any questions? Motion?
I'll move that we approve.
I have one question, if I may.
Sure. Okay, go ahead, yeah. Sure.
You didn't specify what type of treatment it was. Is it a filtration or what? What type of treatment plant is it?
Ion exchange.
Ion
It's what?
exchange. Ion exchange.
What exchange?
Ion
Oh,
exchange.
ion exchange. Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was what we discussed at the last.
Oh, I
meeting.
was listening for that and I didn't hear
Okay.
it. Okay, because you were going to filtration for a while, but we all realized that filtration wasn't really the thing, but ion exchange is the system. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other
I'll
questions?
second the motion.
We have Mr. Vartanian.
Garen.
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry for the PFAS question that I have, but
No, don't apologize.
yeah, on page 35, I know I asked this, but I think I heard it wrong. I want you to point to me. I asked about the finished test results for Bernina. And November 7th was the last time the drinking water, this is important to me because I drink the water out of the freaking faucet. On November 7th, you guys tested the Bernina finished drinking water on page 35. And I think that the general manager said the fourth and final test is on page. Where's the fourth quarter result? Because the page that you indicated, page 38, it's the raw water. North Bay is Lake Arrowhead. That's not Bernina. Is the North Bay first? Is the first column on page 38 that says North Bay? Is that the Bernina finished drinking water result?
The answer is, we have the result, it's just not in the report.
Yes,
Is the answer.
Mr. Vartanian, we do have the results and I explained that, there's missing data and we'll get that to you. The
Okay.
4 consecutive quarters have been sampled. The treatment plan is in full compliance, so.
Okay.
Get that for you.
I'll email you for that information. So
Well,
it's not page 38 then. That's not it then. It's just not
so-
there.
Yeah, on page 35 is where we put the finished water results and there's a set missing because it does only show 3 sets from, Bernina treatment plant. You're correct in that, but the 4th set has been taken and we will get you those results.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be in the next month's report.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll update the website when we do as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Garen. Okay, any other questions or comments from the public?
There's none.
Okay, and I think we can do a vote then on this. Number 16,
No roll call.
no roll call.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, the contract is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. All right, very good. Going to item number 17, Scott.
Oh.
I can take it. Sorry, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we put out an RFP, so, at the courtyard. The county is requiring the finishing of the electrical to be done by a certain certified electrician. Commercial certification. That our staff don't have, even though they have all the ability. So we put out RFP for electrical contractor to complete the electrical of the courtyard because we are kind of stuck at the moment. Anyway, we didn't receive any bids before the deadline. We do have 2 contractors who are interested and are still preparing quotes, but we didn't receive them in time for the meeting. So I asked Mr. Stewart if there was ability to authorize, since we didn't receive any bids. I was hoping maybe we would get one by today. I could bring it to you tonight, but we didn't get any. I can wait until next month. I'd like to get this project going. It's at a standstill.
So Catherine and I spoke today. I've been texting with one of our public contract specialists and, our conclusion is that you can, so the board can give Catherine under your own purchasing policy, which, we were reviewing today. And under the public contract code, you are able to, because we have put out a bid, it's been 10 days, it's been more than 10 days, have not received any bids. So long as Catherine, which she just did, reports the circumstances to you, the board, of why there were no bids, which, whatever the circumstances have been. You can authorize her to enter into a contract with the contractor up to a certain amount, whatever the board's discretion may be.
Do we have a preliminary estimate of what this is gonna run? Because I think it came up, it's only come up because the county's requiring it.
Yeah.
So we don't have any idea where it's gonna run.
I don't have an engineer's estimate, but our experience with electrical is, it's very expensive these days lately.
Much less getting somebody out to do it.
Oh, there's our blue scope is there now. I have no idea. But maybe we could authorize something just to get them started and then I'll bring it back at the next meeting.
You have authority up to 25,000.
We're gonna go to 100 or 50
Yeah,
or.
probably. My guess, but it's only a guess. It's gonna be 125. But we could do a lower amount and then I can bring the remainder.
That might be the better way to do it. Let's start with 25 on a partial.
Can you get them started and think maybe they'll get them started at 25? I just don't want you stuck.
I know, I don't know,
Right.
would he even go into it starting at 25, you think?
I think so.
Okay, well then we can just use my authority and if it's at 25.
Okay,
Well, you can get it in front of us next month.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I mean, if we can get them started, it's not like it's gonna be out. I can't imagine anybody getting started in the next 30 days.
I think 25,000 be enough for me to at least enter into a contract.
okay.
I mean, do you need any other offer, like, we want you to get going?
Yeah,
I think under your 25, it's just 25,000, I think, no. Yeah, I think you can just do it, but yeah,
Okay.
but if you wanted to authorize for more than that, you could do that right now, but it doesn't sound like, which is fine.
I mean, let's try for 25 and
okay,
Okay.
sounds good. So this item is no action.
no
Yeah,
action,
no action.
no action needed. Okay, next is action item number 18. Consider rebates for in-home water filters. Catherine.
Thank you, President Worms. So this is the same item, it was requested to bring it back. Same concept, if we want to provide rebates to residential customers for filters that remove PFAS, that are certified to remove PFAS. So I still have notes from the board that the thought was up to $100 per residence, one time only. We would need a receipt proving purchase. And that we would put a cap on the total amount, and then if we get to that point, then staff would bring it back to the board for more.
And I think we're talking like $100,000 would be the cap amount. And then the rebate amount would be $100, so the customer would have to show a purchase of $100 or more, which would include would include the equipment, also filters.
Yes.
Any other input questions?
This will only be, well. The rebates will only be as to those that receive water from us, because I know we provide sewage to some, so it'll only be those receiving water. Is that
And only in
right?
Arrowhead Woods is a good point.
Yes, that's true. Well, we don't supply water to anybody else.
Well, Deer
Oh,
Lodge.
that's a
Park
Deer
and-
Lodge, yeah.
But I'm just saying, only the ratepayers that are being provided water by us would be able to receive
Yes.
this
Yes.
rebate. Okay. And we would start, we're thinking 100,000 to start.
Right.
Okay.
Public comment?
There's none.
Okay. All right, motion?
I will move that the district provide rebates for in-home water filters for all ratepayers that are providing water by the district up to, but no more than $100 per property, per account. I'm trying to
For the property.
per property. And that the budgetary allotment for that rebate amount for purpose of the district shall not exceed $100,000.
If I could amend your motion, will be a credit on the bill.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we won't be sending out checks, the customer will get a credit on the bill. And
Upon proof.
upon proof, satisfactory to the standards, copies of receipts and so forth. But that the rebate amount will be $100, so in other words, we're not paying more than 100, even if they spend more than 100, but they have to submit receipts that total at least 100, so we're not going to like $89.57.
Well, if they do spend $89, then we could give them a rebate for $89. We just can't give them a rebate for 100 if they spend 89.
Okay,
That's
so
a gift.
Not in excess of $100.
So we're okay with doing a rebate less than, but if somebody only spends $89, they can't come back next month for 11 more bucks.
One time.
One time, okay. All right,
And this is for, that's for PFAS, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be a PFAS filter.
It has to be certified.
Yes,
yes,
so it has to meet that requirement.
Yes.
yes.
So if that's the case. You made a motion, I'll second that motion.
No,
You okay?
no, it's okay. I think you're not technically allowed to amend somebody else's motion. You bring a substitute, but if you're okay with President.
No,
Warren's
I will
amending.
agree with President Worm's amended
Okay,
motion.
a joint amendment.
I believe Director Keefe has seconded.
Keep it say, all right, good. I'm good.
All right.
Sorry, we don't get along.
Okay.
Roll call vote?
No,
No,
not necessary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the matter to approve rebates for in-home PFAS water filters.
Yes.
Okay, is approved according to the motion as amended.
Was there any public comment? It doesn't look like it.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
There was-
Oh, you did?
Yeah, not- yeah, we did,
Great.
yeah.
Good job.
Nobody wanted to comment. Okay. All right, any board member meetings? No, board member comments?
No.
No, okay. That concludes our open session. We're gonna go into closed session, negotiation, with, labor, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to item number 19 on the agenda. Do we expect any reported action? No,
I guess I have a comment.
okay,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Can we make sure that we reach out to the public either by our website or whatever to let them know that this is available? I know that lady right there is gonna make sure that folks know. But can we make sure that that gets up on the site?
Yes,
So
and
that-
I also had a note to put it, an ad on our bill.
Okay.
Board requested that at the last.
We want the ratepayers to know that it's available.
Yes, right now we have our consumer confidence report on there, but once that one can come off, we'll put that.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna, adjourn the open meeting, go into closed session, and then once that's finished, we'll adjourn the closed session. Okay, all right, thank you.
And at this time, the video will be, this,